gonna start off by saying, I know it's been a while, but like, listen, I will record when I feel like it. And I think if you follow my podcast by now, I think you know that about me, or just follow me in general. It's not because I'm lazy, but it's more so when I feel called to putting my energy and, really going deep. Um, but anyway, if you're here from my TikTok video or from my threads, thank you for joining me. If you're here because you just listened to the podcast, thank you. Or if you just stumbled upon it, then, you were guided to come here for whatever reason. So this episode might go a million different ways. So be prepared for that. But if you saw the Schumann resonance I've shared on my social media, you can see how much activity is going on that graph. So much is happening energetically and with these light codes coming in. And what do I always say? There are no coincidences. Everything is precise. Mathematically, analytically, and it's no freaking, like I said, coincidence that all those light codes, all the increase in activity on the Schumann resonance occurred on the day of the opening of the Lionsgate portal. And also, for all the astrologists out there, they also mentioned that Leo and Aquarius, let me double check this because I don't want to get this wrong. I'm not big on okay, there's a current transit of the North Node in Aquarius and the South Node in Leo. This all happened on the same day, on the 26th, which aligns with all that energy coming in. So I don't know what episode number this is, but if you follow me, listen to me, then you know that, I try to pull up these patterns, these, I guess, not evidence, but just to, some visuals and connecting the dots for some of you out there so you can understand that we are truly in a historic, monumental time on Gaia. And all of this is 10 million% real. And listen, I don't do what I do to convince you. I hope you know that. All I'm here to do is to share information. Whether it resonates with you or not, it's on you. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's on you. Everyone has free will here. But all I'm saying is, the math is mathing. The graphs are graphing. So, what I will say is, if you're still on the fence, or you're still in the 3D, doesn't hurt to just take a step back and look how everything is connecting. In the moment when you see the connection and the patterns, and something within you goes, oh. My suggestion is to I don't know if you just heard my stomach, but my bad. My suggestion is to run with that. See where it goes. Keep being curious. Keep digging. Keep researching. That is your intuition, your higher self, your spirit team trying to lead you towards this new path of higher consciousness. And they're trying to do that because they know now and in the years to come, because Gaia's frequency is elevated into this 5D consciousness now, it's going to be difficult for you to feel grounded and stable and emotionally sound, and for things to work out the way you want it. Especially if you're out of alignment. It's going to bring up old wounds again. It's going to possibly make you go down a downward spiral emotionally. I'm not trying to scare you. Just keeping it real. This is energetically the difference between the old paradigm, which is the 3D way of thinking, living, being like sheep, being asleep, to being in a space of 5D, which is about love, compassion, healing yourself, coming back to your true self, and not functioning for things, for people, anything that is out of alignment with your true core essence. So, today, y'all, well, just before, man, I was getting hit with so many downloads, which happens to me a lot. You know, I share it all the time, and but this was very unique. The amount of information and truth about myself that was being laid on me, and I'm talking about remembrance, deeper remembrance. Even someone like myself is being activated with these light codes. Everyone is. And so there's few things I want to say on this episode. First off, I am highly affected by what's going on planetarily right now. At every point imaginable. And before I break down why, I'm going to say what maybe some of the spiritualists, guides, channelers, whoever else are out there saying. I'm going to say the opposite. And say to you, tell you that divine timing is very real. And I know this because I've been experiencing it in real time. That was my stomach. That was confirmation. Listen, you know the stomach's the gateway to God's source frequency, not the crown. Don't get it twisted. So everything that has happened in my life was all purposeful, like everyone's is, right? But I mean, when it comes to it matching what's going on in the ethers, in astrology. You can't make this shit up. And there's a reason why I'm saying this. Because I think I've mentioned this in the earlier episodes, like a year ago, something like that, that we all design the lives that we are coming into when we incarnate here. And that includes choosing our parents, where we're born, when we're born, what date we're born on, the time we're born. Everything is detailed when it comes to incarnations. Intricately plotted. So with that in mind, I want you to understand, if that is the case, which it is, how everything in this universe is done the same way. Off of God's source's vibration, frequency. So when you're seeing, at least here on Earth, Gaia, science or other types of theorists, physicists, whoever, even people who, are in spirituality, discuss how certain stars have the same distance and equal to this, and great example, the pyramids matching up with the Leo constellation exactly at that point in the sky, which is coming when it points to the Leo constellation and it aligns with Sirius. This is what the Lionsgate portal was built on because of that alignment. And it's other things. I'm speaking specifically to Earth. You can go to my past videos to see more because I've shared stuff. But in between the ley lines and the way structures were built, megaliths, all of it, even outside of Earth, if you see the way, the distance between, the sun and Earth and other planets, and, the speed of light, all of it has some sort of mathematical commonality that connects to something, because that's what this universe is, showing you that we are all connected. We are all one, because we all came from the same source. This is where the word source comes from, or God, the creator, whichever word you like to use. And so going back to the date, time, and, when you're choosing when you're born and stuff, and how it relates to me. So where should I start? Okay. Oh, my bad, y'all. Divine timing. So I'm saying that divine timing is very real because I'm living it. And I know there's no such thing as time when you get out of Earth's stratosphere and you're into space. You're traveling further out into, there, or dimensions, even, if you want to do it that way. There's no such thing as time because everything happens at once. So in theory, what is said is, because everything exists at once, right? what's happening to you or going to happen to you is already there, like it's already created. And so that's why there's no such thing as divine timing, because there is no absolute time, because whenever something happens to you, for you, or whatever, right, that you experience, that it has always been there because you were set up for it in whichever decisions timeline you're in. So it's already happened. It already exists. And I would have to argue that when it comes to incarnating here on Earth, because not only because of the density of this planet, right? And we are under a construct of time here that's going to change in the future. But when certain things happen to you, from my experience, it will happen at the moment you designed it to happen. And I'm talking about your highest timeline here. As long as you continue to follow the nudges, make those high vibrational decisions that are aligned to your heart and your truth, that makes you feel happy and honest inside, and you're not intentionally hurting other people in the process. It's a big difference between doing it intentionally versus unintentionally. You will be led to the path with the greatest outcome for you, highest outcome for you. And within that path, there are certain points that are marked off. Something happens. You meet the love of your life. You get that big breakthrough. I don't know. You have a child. Whatever it is. Literally, everything is in place. But it happens when it's supposed to. And so that's where I'd have to argue about, there's no such thing as time, because it's always there for you, when you want it. You just have to align your energy towards it, which is true. You attract what you are. But there is a specific point in time in your life where you get to reach that point. Whatever it is that your hopes, wishes, desires, whatever it might be, is. And so I'm saying that because going back to choosing your birth date and all that. And so, again, one would argue that things are happening now for me because I'm, quote unquote, ready. Which, let me take that back. That is true because I had to go through the journey to get there. But what I'm saying is that if everything is divinely timed, if everything wasn't divinely timed, then I would have had what I wanted at any other given point, or the changes in my life would have occurred at any other given point. But the fact that everything is unfolding and connecting at these planetary alignments during crucial times, whether it's the energetic upgrades that come in, whether it's shifts, I've experienced some sort of change in my life. If it's not physically, then it's spiritually. It's in an actual manifestation in my spiritual gifts, or I'll receive more visions about something around that specific time frame where it's aligned with what's going on in the ethers. It is aligned. It is timed. I've been on this journey for a minute, y'all. And it wasn't until I turned 40 this year where things started to pick up, which matches what you were reading when it comes to astrology's planetary alignments. Because all of that it's all interwoven into your life experience as a soul. Whether it's astrology, whether you get readings, whether you're spiritually gifted or not. Doesn't matter. Everything is interwoven together. It's all reading the same energy. And so I'm saying that because things could have been picking up for me a year ago if it was about energy, because I was totally tapped in at that point in time. Doing all the things, I'm doing. But I did not see the shift. So I'm talking about timing. Until all of these grand shifts happening this year in a 1 year, 2026 breaks down into one, which is about rebirth, new beginnings, fresh starts. Timing. You understand what I'm saying? Again, I could speak for me. That everything is starting to happen for me in a 1 year. Didn't happen last year, didn't happen 2 years ago. Timing. And so, being that it's a 1 year, and I turned 40, which is a new decade. And I'm talking about my birth date and all that because I checked today and I did not realize when I checked my birth chart. I did not realize until it dawned on me that, wait a minute. The fixed grand cross is happening right now, which is affecting Aquariuses, Scorpios, Leos, and Tauruses. A lot of shift changes and stepping into your calling kind of stuff happening within those signs. I'm an Aquarius. My moon is in Scorpio. Guess where my nodes are? In Scorpio and Taurus. Where does the Leo factor in? The day that I was born. The year I was born. The time that I was born. And the location where I was born. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. At that time, my sun, which is in Aquarius, the midhaven was at Aquarius. My midhaven is in Aquarius, which is where the sun is the highest in the sky that connects to when you're born. And guess what's in the opposite end? Leo. Exact opposite at my root and my foundation. So this grand cross that's happening right now is affecting every part of me, from corner to corner to corner to corner, like a cross. I'm seeing like a cross right now, and it lighting up across my complete energetic grid. That goes back to me saying everything is divinely orchestrated, divinely planned, designed to happen at this moment in time, y'all. One more time. In a 1 year, my new decade, I have all 4 of these. All affected by it right now. In the nodes as well. And on the 26th, I don't know if I said this earlier, the Leo Aquarius axis on top of it. My point is that I chose to come in deliberately at this time. This is where I'm getting to, which really made me very emotional. That's going on, right? Oh, also, I'm a life path 1. Life path 1 numbers are innovators, leaders. So the fact that I'm 40 in a 1 year, my life path number is 1. This rare grand fixed cross is currently happening in the middle, well, not in the middle, in the opening of the Lionsgate portal. Keep following me here, okay? I know this is about me, but there's a larger, bigger reason I'm saying this. And the Leo is significant because by now you know of my lion star origin. I chose these specific time and dates because of my star origin. And I have to apologize because I have some Lyrans on my spirit team. But a big chunk of my spirit team are not Lyran. They're Leonin, which are lion, feline humanoid beings from, my ears are ringing right now, the Leo constellation. We see how this is all tying together. And this confirms what I was told many years ago by a Hopi Native American tribe shaman. She's adopted by by the Hopi Native Americans. She shared a bunch of past lives, that information and other things, but she looked into my star origin and she's the one that told me. And so I say that to say I deeply apologize to my Leonin family, and I've already said that to them, and they're understanding, obviously, because you only hear about specific star lineages, across social media, online. This is also to say, when it's time to meet our cosmic brothers and sisters or be introduced to them, like I've mentioned in my other videos, that there's so many different types that might look alike, but they're not from the same place. So with that being said, this is the case with my Leonin heritage. Okay, I'm being called to tell you something else that's connected. So the day that I was born is when Regulus, the star Regulus, is directly in the sky. And so the star Regulus is a star system in the Leo constellation. This is also why I had that vision of the pyramids with the face on it. And I was astral traveled to ancient Egypt. Then a week later, a second Sphinx was, so people out there, quote unquote, discovered. It's my connection to my star system. And the reason why I was born, I chose the time that I was born and date and all that stuff, was because Aquarius suns are all about the future, spirituality, tech, innovation, leading to what's next, creating what's next, truth, justice, right? And on the opposite end was Leo, pointing directly at the Regulus star as a foundation of my roots from the Regulus star in the Leo constellation. So, from my understanding, Leonins, they carry which makes total sense. They're built of fire, so to speak. They can go from 6D all the way up to 11D. You might know them as the Irmas. They're different dimensions of these Leonins. And so, because of the way that my spirit team connects to me, they're not in physical form, they're in the upper dimensions. Does not, listen, when you hear dimensions and stuff, again, it's not like it's someone's worse or better or more gifted or more powerful or whatnot. It's just, y'all, when it comes to incarnations outside of Earth and our ego asses here, everyone has a role in the universe. Everyone has a part to play. So the best way I could describe it is like there's satellite dishes, right, out there for specific larger global scale kind of communications, and then there are like local radio broadcasters, radio dials, for local channels and all that. So it's from the same family, but it does different things, has different purposes. Doesn't mean one is better or worse. You follow me? So when you hear that, certain people or souls, whoever are incarnated from different dimensions at that level, that's just where they are for their own purpose. And so I already know that I've incarnated from there, from a higher dimension, into the form of this. Well, the shaman told me, she said, my first incarnation into a star system, she said. Meaning, this is when I came down into a physical vessel of some sort. Was in the Leonin uh, lineage in the star system, the regular star system in the Leo constellation. And Leonins are very creative, which makes total sense to me. I'm saying all this because it's about remembrance, y'all. So a lot of you might begin, if not already, or will get to a point where you remember your star origins. And it's all going to connect for you like it has for me. Everything's connecting for me. My love for cats. Even as a kid, I used to freaking, oh my God, my mother was so mad because she didn't like animals. It was, oh God. And I absolutely loved animals. She would not allow us to have a pet unless it was like a turtle or a fish or something. But, I wanted a cat. So there were mad strays in the neighborhood that I grew up in. And I used to I used to go and just find strays that would come up to me and stuff and just bring them on home. And we lived in this small broke ass apartment, but in the building there was this very tiny courtyard in the back where people would just use it to hang their clothes and stuff. And I would take the strays and just hide them down there. And my mother found out and she got so mad. And she would always make me let them out. One time I saved all my lunch money because somebody was selling kittens. And I ran over and I forgot, I was young, maybe 8, 9, something like that. Could be younger. But I gave them money for the kitten, brought it home, and she wanted no parts of it. I begged her. She said no, so I had to go back and get the money back. So my point is that my connections to cats has always been there. My first animated crush was the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. Yes, I just was so attracted. Even as a kid, I was just crushing on his stature, his intelligence. And obviously, it may sound weird because he's the Beast. And, when he turned into the human, I was like, oh God, go back. But when it just makes sense. The whole lion thing, half lion thing, human thing. So it just all makes sense. Plus everything else that has happened since then in my dream state. My connections with them. One of my first, I could say now, one of my first visions in dream state was a lion, massive lion, that I could remember. At least I was a teenager at that point. But that's aligned or tied to what I'm talking about now with the lion connection. But it was a large lion just walking around in the new apartment that my family had moved into. Just walking around and, I won't say protecting in a sense, but making its presence known. And I remember waking up from it, I'm like, oh, why am I dreaming of a lion? It was just so random. At that point, I wasn't really connecting, tapping into my spirituality like that. I was a teenager, drinking, smoking, having fun, going out, all that, all that teenager stuff. And uh but as a kid, if you listen to my Jedi Jenny episode, you'd know this by now, but I'll just repeat it anyway. But as a kid, I was very connected. I'm talking about like toddler age. I was seeing shit, hearing shit, having conversations with God, spirit, not knowing that I was, which is a very interesting position to be in. I was thinking about that before I got on the mic now. And I was just talking to God, like, damn, like, do you remember when I was talking to you when I was young, and I used to stare at the top of my bunk bed. I shared a bunk bed. So my oldest sister was on the top, and I have a middle sister, and we'd share the bottom bunk. And I remember there'd be moments when they'd be sleeping, or, I'd wake up early and I'd just lay in bed and I'd just look at the top of the bunk bed, and I would just have these conversations telepathically in my head, but not thinking like it was weird. You know what I'm saying? It was it was normal to me, like just talking to somebody, But those gifts and stuff had to be hidden and suppressed because, first off, when I was seeing stuff, my mother thought I was fucking crazy. She said I was hallucinating, I'm sick, and all these things, and just all went away because I had to hide it. And it's just kind of been there in the back for a while, you know what I'm saying? But it's never made itself known, and not until at least, when did it start picking up again? I mean, you get all the signs and stuff, but I was just wild. So like I moved with integrity, you know what I'm saying? For at that age, as much as I could, up until I'd say mid 20s. Mid 20s is when I really started putting on the sneakers, tying up my shoelaces, so to speak, to begin this long spiritual awakening journey. And shouts out to my dog Yeshua for that. I'll share how that came to be through him at some point, along with my other spiritual experiences, and that changed me forever. And I was not born Christian, Catholic. I was raised Buddhist, but I've never really subscribed to a religion, like when we'd have, so with Asians, at least in the Viet culture, I'm Vietnamese, on like days where, like, grandparents or, people like aunts and uncles or whatever have passed, we'd have a dinner. My mother would cook, and then we'd light incense and have the Hennessy. Yes, y'all. Yes. Asian, let me say, y'all. I don't know why people be surprised that Asians love Hennessy. Are you the fuck? That's like saying, I don't know. What, you like water? That is our drink of choice. That's why you see so many Asian Hennessy campaigns. It's huge in our culture. That's all. It's the majority of what we carry. You'll see carried in these Asian supermarkets. That and Remy Martin. So that's all I've seen in my house. What was I talking about Hennessy again? Oh, yeah. So we'd have, that food, light incense on the table. And, we'd pray for them to come enjoy the food. And I'd feel energy when I would do that. But at that point, like, that's the most I'd really like tap in at that time, until I started getting messages from Yeshua. Then it just all started from there. And then, I was seeing a lot of signs and everything else in between. But I'm saying that because, again, all of it is timed. I had to go through this journey to get here, to remember my Leonin lineage, the Irmas, angelics, which also shouts out to Patch. She absolutely had a role in sharing that information. And I'm saying all this because, you guys, however your life has unfolded, if it's looking grim and dark to you, you're confused, lost, these moments are to really put you in alignment towards your remembrance of who you are as a soul, as a spirit. And enlighten you to your mission here, your purpose. Now, everyone thinks that, a purpose has to be something huge and magnificent. If you have dreams for that and it's your passion, great, go for it. It's out there, it exists. But for some, it might not be something so grand. Just could be an amazing sister, mother, father, brother, right? Or be a great colleague, Because everyone as a being, when they're operating in their authenticity and they're at this high vibration, high frequency, it shifts miles of energy around your community and into the ethers. So you don't have to do something huge to create impact unless you want to, unless you're called to. And this led to me doing the work I'm doing now. And I'm not going to go so much more in depth into my past. You go to my Jedi Journey episode, but going through the ebbs and flows of life, even in the darkest times, I never gave up on God and the divine spirit. I trusted, I believed, and I kept going. I persevered through that shit. There's a lot of shit that could have sent me off. I'll just put it like that. That was happening back to back to back to back. So my dark night of the soul was very hard. Some people misunderstand that in order to have an awakening or to connect to spirit, you have to go through some near-death experience. For some people, that is part of their life's plan. That's how they become activated. No. A lot of the times, it's through emotional trauma, if not physical, which essentially is pretty much connected. Because we are sentient beings. We live in a sentient universe. God's source created all from a feeling. So, this is why emotions can be so detrimental to a spirit if they're not balanced, if they're not recognized, and if they're not nourished, supported. Can really drive people, which is how it already has. When you see these kids being bullied and stuff, and then they take their lives because of it, like, excuse me, I'm just feeling the emotion from that. Like, it hurts a soul to spirit so deep when it comes to emotions. And so emotional trauma can trigger awakenings like it has for me. Between the toxic family I was raised in, the environment, then that translating into relationships. I was in a very toxic and challenging relationship, verbally abusive relationship. This is why I can connect to emotions. And I can tell you how much it can affect a person. You see me out here in my power and confident and speaking my truth and standing, firm in who I am. That took a lot of healing to get there. That shit wasn't overnight. But I got through it. I started clearing everything. Not only that, but also from childhood. And so I'm saying all this not to cop a plea and have pity on me, because I don't want anyone to fucking see me as, pity me or see me as a charity case, because that's not what this is about. This is about perseverance, endurance, overcoming, healing, doing the work. That if I can heal myself from these difficult life experiences that subconsciously affected me as adulthood, and now doing what I'm doing and being open with my gifts now instead of suppressing it, and tapping in and connecting and really having a speed dial relationship with the divine, remembering my lineage, talking to my cosmic brothers and sisters. Not saying everyone is called to do that, but what happens is, as you heal, your body becomes lighter. Your energy becomes lighter. The more your energy becomes less dense, the more sensitive you become to what's around you. You're able to pierce through the veil, through the wall, through dimensions, and see beyond what's in front of you. But this is also important to keep in mind, you guys, that what we've been through, even though we've healed from it, does not mean it's gone from you, removed from you. You know what happens with it? You wear it like a badge of honor, like a medal you'd win for surviving through a horrific war, for example, or something. Wear it as a medal of honor, a medal of freedom, because that was a catalyst for you to find yourself again, to be authentic to your core essence. So if you've been through a lot of things in life, Everyone, everything played a role. This is all mapped out up there. Now, it doesn't justify what happens to you, because people do have choices down here. It's free will. Meaning, like, if someone knows they're doing wrong but they continue it, that's a choice. That's the option they receive. They're presented. This is how it works. You design it so you're presented with the situation. Now it's your choice which direction you want to go. And that's how it just continues on from there. Meaning these karmic ties, these karmic connections. And then it just continues on and on and on and on and on until a lifetime where you decide to finally nip that shit in the bud and say, no, no more. Came across those crossroads many times in my life. So I know how hard it is to, sad to say, choose yourself. Because you've become, depending on how you grew up or what you're exposed to, what you've experienced in life, it conditioned you to be this person where you're unable to choose yourself, that you'd rather cater to other people's happiness out of guilt, out of shame, or out of codependency, out of abandonment issues, out of what, all the things that people have issues with. People pleasing. You know what I'm saying? So these are all the things that you have to work through as a soul, spirit. And once you work through that, and you really clear yourself, and at the same time, you're strengthening your connection to the divine. Because a lot of people give up on God and the divine because they think nothing is happening for them. Why is this happening to them? But what they can't see, which I understand, because, what could be happening to you, what you're experiencing emotionally or physically is just so hard that you don't believe. But these moments are cracking you open. These are the moments that you chose to catapult you, launch you into the path of remembrance and healing. Whatever it is you went through, there were lessons you wanted to learn from it. As a soul, as a spirit. This is how we elevate and ascend in the spiritual realm. By going through these experiences, so we know how it feels like to be on the receiving end, and also on the end of the person doing it. To see both perspectives, so you know whether or not you want to ever do this again. Meaning, when you go home, it goes back to emotions and feelings. And you're taken up for your life review. You're going to see everything that's happened in your life, every situation right before your eyes, like a movie reel. And not only are you seeing it, you're feeling it. What you've been through, what you've done to others. These are the lessons. As a soul, you're here to learn. So that you don't do it again in the next lifetime, because you know that you can feel how much you've inflicted on another person. And you will see when you return home that everything that every person feels, you or the person you are doing something to, affects the entire universe, meaning every soul, every ball of light up there. Meaning, if you hurt A, everyone feels that pain. Okay? Sort of like hive mind, like that. Because minus the evilness, but it's because we're all connected to source from which all of us came from. So hurting someone else is hurting yourself. This is where unity consciousness comes in, and us all being one is very true. If you don't believe me, it's all good. Again, I'm not here to make you a believer. But you know what we'll do? Let's bookmark this episode, this moment in time. And whether you're listening and you transition or I transition first, either case, we're going to meet up there. And then you'll see. So I know this episode went all over the place, but it was coming in, so I had to speak on everything I just said. So aside from learning how it feels. Oh, and also, there's also about clearing karma in situations as well. You could be the one that's been hurt, but in another lifetime, you may have hurt that person just as bad, and that had to be cleared. That was cleared in this lifetime. So scenarios like that as well. I'd say a lot of it is like that. A lot of the clearing the karma, because operating in a low vibration in that way, whatever you've done to whomever, is separation from source, because source is a frequency of love, togetherness, wholeness, oneness. And so when you're hurting someone or doing something foul, it creates that separation. It creates that energetic tie, and you cancel it out by having it come back to you, and you experience it on your end. And also, for those who have been on the receiving end of being hurt, might not want to hear this, but Yeshua said it. Forgiveness. Forgiveness will release you from these ties. I know that might be hard for some of y'all to stomach and swallow. That forgiving doesn't justify what was done. Meaning, when you forgive someone, you no longer create that energetic connection to that situation and person. So let's say someone was a piece of shit, right? Yes, they're a piece of shit. They've done whatever to you. But you're like, you know what? That person did what they did. I'm no longer there in that energy. I make peace with it. Whatever happens to them or whatever is how whatever it's supposed to be. And I'm continuing on with my life. So if you harbor these feelings, harbor that energy, it's going to stick around you and transfer into the next life and so on, karmically. So forgiveness is big. Forgiveness is huge. Forgiveness will also heal your heart, help heal your spirit. And the point of all this is, well, it's already over an hour. Start wrapping up, but as you are doing things like forgiving, and you're healing, your remembrance is going to come in so crystal clear about who you are, where you're from, what you're about at the core. And I know for some people that may be listening out there, maybe you feel like, your life's good to go and everything is copacetic. That's great. Continue to be in that vibration. But if there's parts of you that you know you can do better in, do better in them. Increase your vibration even more. Doesn't hurt to always try to become the best version of you. This also applies to, I'm just getting, letting go of the past. And I just want to send love to if some of my music friends are listening from the industry and all that. It's a little rough right now out there for a lot of people. With these layoffs and other reasons, but it's a moment for you to regain focus, put attention towards yourself, who you are, not what you've been identified by, whether it's the company you've worked for or who you are as a celebrity, personality, whatever, or a position you hold. Because once that's gone, and it is, you're going to see who's really there for you, who's really for you, who really supports you. And outside of everyone else, which is honestly not as important as you, figuring out you are, who you are. Because you're constantly on the go, constantly working, constantly doing something, constantly somewhere. Doing, competitive, creating, whatever. No time off to sit down, not even connected to God unless you want something. It's the only time you'd pray or something goes wrong. This is a moment for you to return back to yourself. Who am I without all of that around me, the glitz and glam or what have you? The opportunities, the brands. Would I want to be friends with this person if they were just someone that didn't have these accolades? Would I want to be friends with myself? Am I functioning at a leveled place mind state individual? Am I too much in my ego? Was I too much in my ego? And now I'm being humbled? These are all questions you can start asking yourself. Was I too addicted to making money? Printed paper? Neglecting my soul, my spirit? Enriching that part of me? For some others, you're being called and guided to what you're supposed to do. I mean, look where I'm at. You never know where life's going to lead you, y'all. Everyone that's listening. There's so many so many different directions it can go, and I can promise you that as long as you continue to connect deeper with God, the divine and spirit, and you're working on yourself, and you're moving with love and compassion for others, and you continue to tap within and really, really do the work. But big people say do the work, but I'm going to say this till I'm in the grave. Connecting, strengthening your relationship with God and the divine and spirit, because they're very real. Everyone has a team, a squally of guides around them. That includes your higher self, your oversoul, that's also guiding you. So instead of allowing outside influences or people, places, and things outside of you to validate you, it's a time for you to validate yourself. Take a look in the mirror. This is a moment for you to reflect. And even if you, like, let's say you were a great person at your job or wherever you are, and let's say, budget cuts or what have you, happens. Sucks, but it happens. Maybe it's a lesson for you, a reflection of your worth, or what you feel your worth is, your value. This is why some people, I don't know how long this is going to go, but I'm just yapping at this point. But this is why also, people probably wondered, why haven't I just returned to my old field? I've been working in the business for I was in the music entertainment business for 20 years. All I knew was radio, music, entertainment field. That's all I knew. Damn near all my 20s, all the way into my 30s. All the way up until my mid 30s or so. That's all I knew. It's a long time. But now that I've on the other side, after my awakening and being able to reflect, because this is what happens when you're elevated in consciousness, you're able to see things from a higher perspective. Your energy shifts. I have people that come around me and said, Jen, you've changed, but not in a bad way. From how I used to be to how I am now when people are around me, complete night and day. Complete night and day, that people would actually say that to me because they see it, they recognize it. When you've been awakened, you've healed, and you're tapping in with the divine and you're doing the work. For others, if you're spiritually gifted and you're connecting to spirits or our cosmic brothers and sisters like I do, whatever. The light on you might shine a little brighter depending on your purpose. Again, do not allow your ego to feel like, oh, well, you don't think I have a high, big purpose like that. Like, listen, that's a part of this being an embodiment and being grounded in spirituality too. You'll come to realize that everyone has their own role, whether someone has more to do or a higher calling than you. You're not like, oh my God, am I not as special? You know what I'm saying? You're just like, that's what they're meant to do. And that's it. Everyone has a gift. Everyone's doing whatever their mission is here. It's hard to even conceptualize that, right? Coming from maybe a environment, work environment, career or family, whatever it might be, where it's all about ego, who's better than who, and there's jealousy or envy or whatever. All these downtime moments are for you to really tap in, to find yourself and also see how resilient and strong you are. I'm saying of course you're going to go through the emotions, but of endings or embarrassment or whatever you might be feeling. But instead of seeing it as a crutch, see it as it putting you on a ladder that you're climbing up higher and higher in. Because it ain't about the money. It ain't about what you've done here when it's self-serving. This is not why your soul came here. That's just a perk. You came here for deeper reasons that are all related to you as a soul. So instead of nourishing, instead of building, instead of stressing over, the physical things that you want to be, start redirecting that attention towards who you are. Put that same energy towards you, and you'll realize, I'm just seeing it right now, the more you do that, it's like you just shine brighter and brighter and brighter. Like the light just keeps on amplifying to a point where you're so damn healed and your light is shining so damn bright that you're just shining and blinding people as you're walking down the street. This is why people with high vibrations, kids stare at them, animals love to come to them. They can connect with anybody. Everything just manifests. They're in synchronization with what's going on in the ethers, but also physically. Everything just aligns. Everyone can get here. If I was able to get here, you can get here. Believe me, you can. And you shouldn't be doing it because you want to fucking start seeing, hearing, and sensing shit. Like a psychic and all that. You know what I mean? Being spiritually gifted or whatever. This should not be your reason to wanting to get to this point. Because again, not everyone is called to do healing work, guiding, teaching, or whatever. Your senses will heighten, but if that doesn't happen for you at the level that, some of these people out here are doing, don't feel like you're down, don't be down and out. It's not what you're called to do. And if you feel like that way, that means there's more work to be done. We should get to a point where you're just existing and being present. And that's not to say that you won't go through emotions here and there. It's learning how to regulate them, acknowledge them, but then release them. Don't dwell in it. So when you get to that point where you're like this is when you will remember who you are as a being, as a soul, as a spirit, possibly your star origins, like myself. So, guys, I think it's the longest I've ever recorded episode, but it's been a minute. Right now is such a incredible time on Gaia on Earth. The energies that are swirling around Gaia right now in this elevated frequency. You can create whatever life you want that will be fulfilling to you in every way possible. That is how potent the energies are right now on Gaia. There's so much change on the horizon. So much. You can tap into that. You just got to match the vibration, the frequency, which is a high vibration. And that means it's going to require you to go in. Tap within. It's less about reading, watching videos on conspiracies and fucking manifestations and our cosmic brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? Though I love them. It's more about clearing up what's going on inside you. That's the answer. It's for you to tap in and connect. Getting back to your truth, your authenticity, who you really are. Your heart space. This is the energy of 5D, the heart space. Knowing all the things, the knowledge of the universe or the cosmos, Akashic records, even all of that. Okay, even in the spiritual community, in the spiritual side, gifted ones. You're only there and you're not working on grounding your energy and bringing it down, remembering that you're also here on Earth. So you have to experience Earth in an earthly way too, being a balance of both. This is why we're in the heart space energy. The heart is the bridge between both worlds. That's why it's in the middle of your chest, that energy center, your heart in general. Because when you're aligned and cleared and healed in your heart space, everything else just naturally flows. And your energy gets bigger and brighter. You'll attract everything that you want into your life at this high vibration that Gaia is in. For some of you, that's love. And I put this on my recent video at Spirit School that a lot of people are about to come into divine union, and a lot of you have been waiting a long time to find your person. For some out there, there's a reason. This is specifically for the ones that have a mission here together. This divine union is meant to build on this new earth, this 5D frequency, consciousness, vibration we're in now. That's, partly here because some people still in 3D. You both had to wait until Gaia shifted into 5D because there were a lot of upgrades and also a lot of clearing, a lot of moving things out the way, releasing, cutting off, healing that needed to be done before you guys can come together to be in this frequency, matching each other, because you both have to be at the same vibration to build. So as long as both of you, your divine partner, yourself, have made high vibrational choices to get to this point, you will be meeting them soon. So keep doing the work. Keep trusting. Everything is timed. I'm just getting it's like with these divine unions that it's like you both know that each other exists. I can speak for me. Like, you just energetically know. I've always known. Like, I've always, not like you have this preference of what you want in a partner, but you just, for me, it was more energy. I just felt like my person is definitely out there. You know? I don't know where, right? How, when this is going to happen, but I just know. You can feel it because that is what that divinity, that divine love, that connection can't be cut off, even if you haven't even met each other yet. You've heard of the red string theory? It's something like that. But like I've said in my other video, it's equated to, when I was tapping into it, like Jon Snow and Daenerys. Both of them did not know each other existed for damn near how long, right? And they both went on these crazy, oh my God, torturous paths, right? Fighting, killing, and, I just, even worse than that. Uh, but ultimately, they both rose into power, into their destined positions in life. That ultimately, when they stepped into this power, they started hearing or recognizing rumblings of the other person. So I'm saying that similar maybe in your situation. You can feel them, you can sense them. Maybe you're starting to see hints of them. Maybe you have started to see hints of them already. And they come together in the end, Jon Snow and Daenerys, for a reason, a purpose, a mission. Similar story, similar situation here. So if you're looking for love, this is probably around the time where it starts to manifest, because of all these energies coming in. Because the Lionsgate portal is massive on 8/8 when it reaches its peak up until it closes. Woo, baby. Strong, strong energies there. And I'm getting the Lionsgate portal is not solely, now that I know, not only the Lyrans doing that. Okay. Any with high dimensional lion DNA is a part of that. I'm hearing like I'm getting elders hearing elders, like elders. High dimensional beings. Very high dimensional beings. I'm gonna wrap this up. I know it's going this long, but thank you if you're listening still. So for some of you, this portal that happens every year, but this year it's special, and I'll talk about it in a video at some point. But the vibration is extremely high for this. The light codes that are going to come in, the frequency, it's just insane. But a lot of people utilize this for manifestation and abundance. But this year, it's more about remembrance. Really owning who you are. Activating who you are. Recognizing who you are at a soul level. Forget it doesn't matter about star origins I'm getting. It's just your soul, your energetic blueprint. That is significant for this portal. There's going to be an undeniable feeling of clarity when it comes to who, what you are. That includes what is aligned in your life and what is not aligned in your life. So get ready for that. Oh my God, they're not gonna let me go. I also have to record a video. I hope I can, but I'm just okay. They want me to end this with love because I'm seeing a lioness and a lion just head to head, meaning forehead to forehead. Okay, so some of these divine unions are going to start coming together around that time. If it's not official, like, whatever it might be. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, if you're making it official with a partner or what have you, if this is a divine union that has a, higher purpose for the new earth, you at least will be connecting, meeting, or you will be acknowledging that, yes, this is my person. But that's going to be happening around that time. This love, okay, come on, y'all. How much more? Ugh. Let me take a sip over here. Hold on a second. I've been talking straight through you. I haven't paused yet. This is just channeling. It's all good. Comes with the territory. I don't mind it. I am used to it by now. Some days it's a little rough, depending on what's going on in the ethers energetically and Gaia in general and weather and all of it. But some days, I'm coasting like right now. But what the hell was I saying? Oh, yes, love. This is what I'm going to end it with. I'm telling my team. Because this is important, because a lot of people are looking for love. And, your love, if it's not a divine... Okay, let's separate it. I'll talk about the divine love. I'll finish it off with that. I'm talking about now people just looking for their soulmate in general. Like, gotta trust the timing. You gotta, again, oh, my ears are ringing. Timing and the work you're doing on yourself. And sometimes, I hate to say this, if you don't end up with the person you're meant to be with, you have other soulmates out there. I know that kind of hurts to hear, but some people get stuck in partnerships, relationships that they never leave, and they go to the grave miserable, unhappy. So as long as everyone's doing these making these high vibrational decisions, all of you are going to meet the love of your lives. And I'm seeing that because as more people continue to awaken, and everyone is being activated heavily in their heart space through these light codes that's coming in right now. You've seen the Schumann resonance chart, like it's insane. So much energy is coming in, light codes are coming in, upgrading your DNA, really getting to the root of your heart. I'm just seeing like the heart green shining like emerald, and within that heart are like roots that almost look like tree roots, but it's the root of your heart. Getting to that point, that area, clearing all that out so that it can grow and open and spin and blossom and be revived. I'm seeing going from like just a heart that's at a standstill to now it's pumping really hard and actively fast. Like you're going to feel like alive again. As long as you're really grounding in this energy and soaking it in. In addition to doing that work, connecting with God, source, the divine. For some of you, you might be feeling a complete surge of energy all over your body. For some, like it's being washed over with like a bucket of water, like a wave of water. A lot of cleansing in your spirit through your heart space. You'll find your person through there. One other thing, if you're trying to find a person to feel like you're complete, you're whole, that person is not going to come into your life. Because you need to be whole and complete on your own. You don't need someone else to fulfill you. Again, outside validations. In a high vibrational relationship, you're walking side by side. When it comes to divine love, you are walking side by side, but you're also walking with a mission. There's a lot of love, but there's also a lot of creation. What you create will be built off of the energy of this divine union, this love, this godly love. These divine unions are going to inspire everyone. Because it's going to show what truly being loved looks like. Honoring each other, respecting one another, truly loving each other, speaking highly of each other, working together. Both spirits, both divine masculine, divine feminine, in their healed energy, in a high vibration, doing all this, plus building for the new earth, creating amazing, whatever it is, projects, businesses, I don't know, children even. Some of you are going to have children. Some of you are That's part of your contract, is to bring in children, these rainbow children who are extremely, very, yo. When this energy came to me out of nowhere, I was like, oh, okay. Because I know for myself, very healing. Oh my goodness. And spiritual abilities, gifts. But this is what is a product of true godly divine love that isn't forced, that flows, that doesn't question, it knows. Oh, bars. That came out naturally. Let me tell you, Spirit, sometimes I just get, oh my God, what was a couple of days ago, they were just hitting me with like rhymes all day. I was like, should I put this in a book or something? It was crazy. But yeah, people are going to start coming to the divine unions. They're meeting their divine partner. And final thing, I'm going to go when it comes to your divine partner. They are too spiritually gifted as you, because you both have to be at the same vibration in their own way. You guys are going to have very similar energies, frequencies when you meet each other. It's going to feel like you are looking at yourself, even though you might look like polar opposites. There's going to be a recognition. I'm just seeing with the eyes, like upon looking at one another, it's just going to feel like you're home. It's going to be very comfortable. It's going to feel very, you've heard the word chemistry, but it's more than that. What was said before and it's coming to me now was electric, because the vibrations between you guys are so high. And your heart centers are going to be so activated by one another. And a lot of healing too. Because both of you have not had the best of luck in relationships. For both of you, there was a lot of spiritual learning in your lifetime. Just, learning to connect even deeper, and a lot of love lessons I'm getting. Matters of the heart. But within that are soul lessons. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's more boundaries, whether it's self-worth issues, whether it's codependency issues, abandonment issues, whether it's ego, whether it's taking advantage of someone, not knowing how to be the one to, cut it off. A lot of other lessons to be learned in the relationships. But you've always all have never settled. This is why you're about to meet now. You've never settled for these relationships that didn't feel right for you, even if it took a long time for you to get to this realization. This is how you're able to heal yourself. Take time to heal yourself instead of being those that jump into relationship, into the next one, into the next one. Taking time to really take a step back and look in the mirror. So we had to wait until it shifted into 5D after these upgrades, especially now, with these upgrades now, coming into Lionsgate. You both just had to be prepared for each other, preparation, big on preparation to be able. So one person might be, okay, so with the divine masculine, it's more protector provider energy. So during this time, they also would have been, for this divine union, building a foundation, because the work that they're about to do is going to be semi-reliant on that, because right now spiritual or businesses that are within the spiritual community, right, unless it's your own entrepreneurial endeavors, right, I'm talking about at a mainstream level, there isn't one there, it isn't there yet. So y'all gonna be building towards that, if to some capacity, making it bigger. That's if you're building a business. For some of you, again, there's other directions this can go. I'm personally speaking also for myself, because that's what I'm getting. But so your divine masculine would be building this foundation. So the divine feminine has been tapping into her spiritual connectiveness, deepening her relationship with the divine, her gifts, learning, transmuting, helping in her own way. So while your divine masculine is building in the physical sense as the container, the divine feminine has been building in the spiritual sense, in the spiritual realm, so that these both worlds can merge together and create something solid here, but with spiritual energy, roots, foundation at the same time. So the way businesses used to be, or projects or whatever you're building, it was more of like, how we gonna make money, or how are we gonna do this and that, you know what I mean? Like, it's more about make. Whatever is being created is more about give. Hope I'm making sense. Now, if that means in terms of a child, that's how you're giving back, your rainbow child is going to be the one to create that physical manifestation here for New Earth. So there's many ways this can go, these divine unions, and what they're here to do. Could be something simple that adds to the collective, could be something that's large scale. But these two coming together in this healed frequency, this vibration, it's a powerhouse. So I was getting massively power couples when I was tapping into it. Now, when you think power couples, that doesn't necessarily mean that two people, I don't know, hold weight in whichever field or work they do. Could be not. Power, I'm talking about energetically. Just imagine two suns, okay, coming together. You understand what I'm saying? That type of energy and how bright that is when they're together. Like these divine unions, you guys, when they walk into a room, you are going to feel them before you even see them. That's how powerful their energies are going to be together. And people are going to see that it makes sense because the energies feel so intertwined that they can't deny. Like they're going to feel the energy first before they even look at you and your divine partner. That's how powerful this energy is. Because when divine masculine, divine feminine energy comes together, that creates God source frequency, which is what the 5D consciousness is all about. Balancing out the energies here on Gaia. So on that note, guys, I said a hell of a lot. This should hold you down for however much longer I take to release the next episode. But I put a lot in here all at once, and take your time with it, digest it. And everything that I've said is a result of, or how you get to, this part of remembrance and clarity. Just like myself today, when I've hit with so many downloads, more truth, again, clarity of my true origins. So, if you don't know what that is yet, it's going to come to you. And as all these energies come in, remember to relax, stay grounded, hydrate, be calm. I was going to do a bunch of things, but I was being guided to just like, you need to just be soaking in these energies right now, allowing it to integrate into you. And I'm telling you, yo, it's a big, big, major cellular upgrades happening for everyone right now at a DNA level. At the how much and the capacity, how strong or intense it is, depends on how clear your vessel is, how light your vessel is. The more light you are, the more you're going to feel it. By light, I mean the density, how much you've healed. Not saying it's not going to affect people who are at a more dense level. It's definitely going to affect them where it's supposed to help awaken them. But for sure, in terms of like sensitivity, the people that are more awakened or conscious are going to feel a lot more. Humanity's hearts, everyone's hearts that have never healed or just partly healed or having a hard time healing or in the process of healing, even the ones that are already healed, are all getting some sort, are receiving some sort of activation upgrade to that area. But particularly to the ones who haven't been able to heal yet. You know, humanity's hearts are in repair mode right now, regeneration mode right now. It's probably the biggest energy center that every soul here has the hardest time healing, working through. Whether it's love, whether it's family, whether it's different scenarios they've been a part of that hurt them there. It's you can imagine how many unhealed people there are in this world. Because it all stems from there, then it just travels to other areas, other energy centers. That affects everything else within you, whether it's physically or emotionally. So it all stems from, so I was talking about the roots of the heart being watered so it can grow again, you know? This is what's happening during this phase. A lot of repairing in that area. Because it is so necessary and so needed. We all have it in us. You're seeing that. In glimpses of it, at least. With whatever you're seeing in media. How people are rallying behind one another. Because this is the truth. Humankind does not want to be separated. Don't want to be divided. We all do care, love each other, and want to live in peace and unity. But it's all, like I've said before, these divisive agendas that's keeping everyone in separation and filled with hate. And even with those shifts starting to happen, now it's a matter of what's coming up. What's this is going to sound really disgusting, okay? But it's like if you use like acne face wash, right? Exfoliant, and like the first 2 days nothing happens, and the third days like everything just starts coming out the woodwork to be released because it's been stuck in your pores. It's very similar to what's happening right now. So the remnants or the results of the separation, the division, any pockets of it that's left is being brought into the spotlight right now. The difference is, how are people responding to it? You're seeing a big difference in how people are reacting, meaning more unification versus, well, are you sure? Well, what did he do? You know what I mean? It's very different now. There's some trolls, but listen, don't even listen to the trolls, y'all. If you don't know this, there are things called bot farms. In some of these countries, they have a mega room with 100,000 even more bot accounts that they can click at a push of a button to pick up on keywords where they can send messages to incite crime, hate, racism. Even in the spiritual world, they do that to keep the vibration low. So this is why you should not care about some of these trolls out here. Some of them aren't even real. They're being manufactured behind a computer screen, literally. It's not even a person. But all that's to say that it's a lot of repairing in the heart right now. But it's headed in a wonderful direction. Guys, I'm a bit parched, so I'm going to go. I thank you and appreciate each and every one of you that hit play, that reached the end of this episode, that follow me, my spirit school and my accounts and everything. I am so grateful, and I say that so humbly and genuinely. And I'm happy that we found each other. You resonate with me. It's because you were guided to me, whether because there's a resonance match here, or you're taking away something from the things I say, you're learning, or you're being activated and awakening yourself. Whatever the reason is, I deeply appreciate it, because this is the most authentic I've ever felt in my entire life since I was a toddler, on some real shit. So being able to be open and free and share my gifts and talk about all the things that are passionate for me feels amazing, Like even during my radio days, I love talking about music and but when it came to talking about gossip and all that, like it's to each its own. But for me, I just didn't feel called to do that. Just like I am not called to do tarot readings. Oh, I promise. Okay, at 2 hours. Oh my goodness. Last thing I'm going to say, and wrap this up because it's about me. That, in terms of the tarot reading, so I had no idea why I wasn't feeling called to do tarot readings for people. I could do them, but it just wasn't for me for some reason. And come to find out, it all has to do with my Leonin lineage, but also my vibration, my origins of my soul. And what I'm here to do, which ties into the fixed grand cross I was telling you about, because these signs are all related to clearing out what no longer serves you, but finally standing in your authenticity and your truth. And I mentioned all my numbers and all that before to say that, like, this is the time for me and my spirit team telling me to, this is the moment for you to lead in this new collective as part of, this is part of my soul mission. And so I'm so grateful for people that are finding their way towards me. Not because I want to be like some fucking master guru. Like, fuck nah. It's just that, the words, the frequency is helping other people waken out there so they can connect even deeper and find themselves. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm saying that also with the tarot thing because where my frequency is as a being, because I'm definitely not from here. I'm here to share visions and all things that I've shared, but speak on things that are happening at a global scale that's larger for the collective versus more localized, like one-on-one. So, there'd be moments when I do my energy healing and I know exactly where to like clear people, but like there'd be moments where I wouldn't pick up anything going on with them. And it has to do with my Leonin lineage DNA, because Leonins are they operate from a lot of strong frequencies pouring out of them. So it's like the fire around them and within them does not allow that exchange to enter. So it creates a protective blockage. Not saying they're going to soak it in, but because the vibration is so different and high, it doesn't have the ability to match that frequency. And this also is in line to me when, I would think to myself, well, how come I can't see a certain person's past life like that? But I could look into what happened with the freaking Knights Templar, you know what I'm saying? Or like Egypt or something. That's because who I am dimensionally within this star system, the Leonins, I tap into shifts that has happened not only here on Gaia, but galactically, cosmically. I can look into those things as opposed to more personal one-on-one timelines for people. That's just, it goes back to that satellite dish I was talking about earlier and the radio broadcaster. Is some people are here to heal people one-on-one in that way and give them their future timelines or, the past or current, what's going to happen to them, like those psychic tarot readings and stuff. That's what they're called to do at a healer level, even if they're doing energy healing Reiki on people, and they're able to feel and pick up what someone's going through because that's what they're doing at a local energy exchange. It's just different. So, which explains to me what I have been experiencing because, I wasn't experiencing that as much. And I was wondering to myself, like, wait a minute, like, am I tapping in? Not recently, but in the past. But I'm saying it now all makes sense because that's not what I'm here to do. This is why I get visions from time to time, and it's not like a vision every day, right? These big big energetic changes or moments that occur. It's not, there's moments I can really tap into. It's weird. It's like when it comes to a person, it comes in blurry for me. But if it comes to what's going on collectively, what's going to happen, I can see that. And I just know it. So clear cognizance, it's inner knowing. I have that. One of the things that I have, in addition to the clairvoyance and the clairaudience that's starting. All damn the clairs, they're all gonna pop off. But my point is that again, it goes back to everyone has their specific role, and for me, it's more of just a global view, a more cosmic, widespread view of what's happening, and it goes back to my role, which has been done. I've been told, like one of my past lives, the last thing I'm going to share is alongside Patch, who's been with me since I was incarnated, like overseers, almost like cosmic guardians, making sure everything is checking off, which makes sense for me and the work that I do and why I'm connecting with extraterrestrials, our cosmic brothers and sisters, and the GFL on top of that. So, and I'm going to talk about that at my spirit school soon, because I'm starting to get more of those meetups in the astral. So couldn't have done it without getting to this point of clearance, being really reborn energetically to do that work here at this low density, obviously. And again, does not make me or anyone else better or worse than the next person. It's just what it is in terms of what you're called to do, what your soul is meant to do, because we are all incarnations of spirit. We're all different iterations of spirit having an experience. Iterations of God's source, I should say, have an experience. We're all fragments from God's source. We're just different expressions of it. And so that all came to me today and just made total sense, and made total sense of who I am as a Leonin and why I am the way I am energetically, even personality wise, why I chose the date I was born in, and all of the signs correlated with my birth. It just all makes sense. And one last thing I'm going to say, for real, because it's past 2 hours, but I hope you're enjoying this, is that with the Leonins, because there's not much you can find on Leonins, they're not part of the well-known groups, which, like, the Lyrans, Palladians, Syrians, Arcturians, those folks. But they incarnate because they were incarnated into, where at least I was from, the regular star that is just came directly from source. So it's not like the Lyrans who've had traumatic experiences. What I'm getting from this is that I was able to see into that and feel what they were feeling. And even though Leonins, right, they incarnate directly from source, meaning at that high vibration, so they don't experience the traumas, the karma. They're just an expression of this high dimension that they choose to incarnate in intense situations here on Gaia in different lifetimes, so they can understand humanity, how they operate, how their mind works. So it's an experience too for higher learning during the denser times, obviously, before Gaia came into 5D. Now these incarnations, like myself, and it's what I'm experiencing now, this is why I'm starting to have these meetups, I'd say, in the astral with, the GFL, our cosmic brothers and sisters. It's to kind of like be the boots on ground and let them know what's going on and also provide insight too. Because even the GFL, They work with beings who are like seers, like myself, all the types of beings. But you might be like, well, wait a minute. Aren't these, they're different, higher dimensional, they're multi or interdimensional? Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're able to see into things, feel into things as another being. I thought that was very interesting. You would thought all of them have different types of unique gifts like that, but no. So they can operate a high vibration, but I'm also saying that because this is where the spiritual layer comes in. That even though they're extraterrestrial, or excuse me, interdimensional beings, there's a spiritual element. They know this to everything. And some souls, beings have, and some don't. So, all right, y'all, I left you guys with a lot. But a lot has been learned from this episode on your end, I'm sure. And for me too. Tonight was heavy duty for me. So, if you connect with being a Leonin, then fantastic. I'm glad I could be the one to share this with you if you never heard of them before. But I must make sure I refer to them correctly because I definitely don't want to disrespect where I'm from. But that's just due to, again, humanity, and also some folks that are tapped in, that there's so much more that can be tapped into that people aren't tapping into. And just some people are able to connect with that. And on that note, remember, stay hydrated, y'all. Stay rested. As all these energies are coming in, you're seeing it yourself in the Schumann resonance. And by the end of it, God willing, you will have no doubt who and what you are and what really connects with you at the heart level. All right? I'll catch you in the next episode, whenever that is. Love and light. Peace.